Okay, good morning everybody, it's Mike and thanks for joining me today. We're in a series on little tips I picked up through my 3 decades in Atlanta real estate that I want to share with you in hopes that it helps. And we did this last week and I got such great commentary from you and requests to continue down this road. So that's what we're doing this week, and I've got a whole bunch more good tips to share with you. Today I want to talk to you about something that's very timely, and I hope it helps somebody listening. In our industry, for some reason, I think there's a couple of reasons, but we have developed this habit of closing all of our transactions at the end of the month. Now, when I say all of our transactions, I acknowledge that many of you are closing transactions in the early and middle part of the month, but by and large, we really back in this stuff towards the end of the month. And the dominant reason is, of course, because of the interest adjustment. And your customers are hoping to, quote, skip a month on their payment. It's a little bit of bad math involved with that. You know, you only pay for the number of days you own the property, right? So you're not really getting anything for free. You do get to have 1 month where you don't have a mortgage payment, but then you have to make that up at the back end of the mortgage. So when you sell the house, you've got days of interest that you haven't paid for yet. Okay, that's the reason why we do it. We also do it because it's become habit and customary. And this month in particular, July 31st falls on a Friday. I can already tell you what's going to happen, and I'm desperately wishing that it wouldn't, but it is going to happen. It's going to be a nightmare for your customers. And it's not going to be a nightmare because the lender's incompetent, or they're evil, or they have bad intent, or the closing attorney's a bunch of dummies. Everybody but you in the transaction is an idiot. You know what I'm talking about. It's because you, as the professional, didn't step up during contracting negotiation and help your customer, your home buyer or home seller, understand why it might not be in their best interest to set up their closing on Friday, July the 31st. Why? Maybe you don't understand yourself. And so you start assigning evil intent to everybody else, though you don't really have enough information to make good decisions or to even help your customers make good decisions. So what am I talking about? Look, if you ran a closing attorney's office, if you ran a mortgage company, you would know that everybody's trying to close on Friday the 31st, but you can't staff up just for 2 or 3 days every month. You can't. You know, maybe a temp agency highly specialized in this area, maybe that's a good business idea, but then again, you'd have to charge so much, I'm not sure anybody would be willing to pay it. What we're talking about is helping your customers understand that when you try to close on Friday the 31st, it's like trying to get to work during rush hour. You'll get there. It's just going to be really frustrating and annoying, and you're going to be in a really bad mood by the time you do. So my tip is, don't set your closings up for the last 2 days or the first 2 days of any month. You know, close earlier that week. Well, my customers want to close on Friday afternoon and then move in or move out over the weekend. Okay, good. That's like trying to time getting to work within 1 minute, though you're driving in rush hour. Every once in a while you'll pull that off, but most of the time you're just setting yourself up for a lot of frustration. Okay? And you're going to sit in closing rooms, especially this month, because with all the refi and all the purchase business going on in a surging real estate market, lenders and closing attorneys and appraisers and home inspectors and some real estate agents are completely overwhelmed right now. And a lender is going to be much like a real estate agent. Really, you're going to turn down more business? Oh, I'm sorry, Mr. Home Seller, home buyer. I have all the business I can handle right now, so I won't be able to help you. Oh, please. You're going to take it and then you're going to try to do the best you can, but you're going to be jammed up and stretched too thin. And so are the lenders, and so are the closing attorneys through all of their best efforts and good intentions. And so are the appraisers. There's just temporarily more business than they can physically process. So when you try to all close it at the same time, you're setting it up for an immensely stressful event for your home buyer and home seller. Don't do that. Help them understand why it might be to their best interest to close a little earlier in the month or a little later in the month to minimize the stress, so that the vendors, the attorneys, the appraisers, the originators, the underwriters, the processors, everybody has the time and ability to give the attention that's needed to their loan. Or you can be intellectually lazy and you can just assign blame and evil intent to everybody around you because you're the only competent one in any transaction, right? Oh man, those precious little egos of ours, they just really need to be taken out for a spanking. So my tip for you today is move your closing dates around. Make it a less stressful event on you and your customer. They'll appreciate it, and it'll make your job so much easier. Now this is Mike. Let's go out and make it happen for ourselves today.